bit of a delay here. Sorry, folks. I had to get on, dealing with some stuff, but we're here. We are live. Let me see. What's up, Mike? Mr. Money Mike Madness actually alerted me that I messed up this stream. Date-wise, Red Mage also did that. Thank you. Prodigy, what's going on? Dallas Sound Guys from Dallas, how you doing? Tom made it to one of these. What's up, Tom? Dill, what's up? Tupac is alive. What's going on? Door, how you doing? Cold Games, what's up? Ryan, Ben, Mr. Bob Dylan, how are you? Madden, what's going on? Wow, Tupac, sounds like you're in for a big one. Whoa. I'm way off. I'm way off center, chat. Way off center. There we go. Nope, now I'm off center this way. Do I look a little bit glitchy? I feel like I look a little bit glitchy. I don't know. Do I look all right, chat? Do I look okay? I can't tell. It's a new camera and stuff, so mustache looking solid. Thanks. Yeah, I feel like it's a little glitchy. I'm trying to figure it out. Bring it on, Corbin. I'm just trying to stack my paper. How much to erase that mustache? Let's see where we're at. I think we're doing pretty well right now in terms of getting towards our goal. Let's find out together, shall we? Like a complete unknown, Mr. Bob Dylan becoming a member. Thank you so much, Mr. Bob Dylan. I feel like there's a better name to call you, and I feel like I've asked this before, but Bob Dylan just sticks in my head. Either way, can we get some claps in the chat, please? Oh, it was Anthony gifting it. Sorry, I wasn't even looking at chat. Anthony, what's going on, my friend? Can we get some claps in the chat for Anthony, and welcome in Mr. Bob Dylan. Sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, the mustache is, it's looking a little bit better. So we're at $260. Towards our donation goal by the end of the month. The end of November is in 9 days. I told you guys I was going to match $250. So we made our goal. We made our goal regardless, right? But I wanted to see how far we could get. So I'm still going to leave it towards the end of the month. So if you guys still do want to donate, help motivate and bring awareness and sustainability to men's mental health nationwide and worldwide, feel free. The link is in the description of this video, and I can plug it in the comments if you want as well. But we're getting pretty close here. Either way, chat, I feel like there hasn't been a ton rumor-wise for the Red Sox lately. But there's some good stuff that we need to talk about. What's up, Wendell? Let me see. Have I missed anyone? Jackson, welcome back. The Gaming Texan, how you doing? Yo Gamer, what's up? JB, Wakefield, what's going on? I will be at Sox Winter Weekend this year. 250, that is yours. Robbie, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're feeling a little bit better, huh? Bruins on top. Bruins are doing really well this year. I don't watch a ton of Bruins games, though. I went to my first legit Bruins game. I'm very glitchy. There might be a way to fix that. Hold on. There might be a way to fix that. There, that might be a little bit better. That might be a little bit better. Sorry to hear that, Robbie. Those are kind of the worst, the cortisone shots, but they make you feel incredible. Look like I'm at 30 FPS. Yeah, I think this streaming on YouTube is 30 FPS. I don't know if it'll, because it's gonna look glitchy because it is better. Okay, yeah, I figured. What I was doing is I was running my camera through a system before putting it onto this. Thought it looked better. It did look better, but we'll use this for now and just stay zoomed in or whatever. Checking in for Toronto, but cheer for Boston. I hate the teams here. The fans are garbage. There's a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams that are have some real interesting fans in Canada. Yeah, sorry. All right, we fixed it. Here we are. We're here. Who do you think is going to get Ohtani? I think it's going to end up being the Dodgers. It's too perfectly lined up, right? And I know it's the boring answer, but it's probably the correct one. I was too high off upgrades for YouTube. I swear to God, I made so many upgrades recently. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Worried that the Sox. I've seen a lot of this lately. Hold on, Jake. I'll get to your question in a second. I'm gonna answer clutches first. Are you guys? I'm worried the Red Sox are not gonna do what we guys are expecting. I'm seeing that a lot lately, and it's perfectly normal to be worried, and I think we're all worried that they're not going to get anything done, right? I think that's a reasonable expectation or concern for the Red Sox to have, Red Sox fans to have, but at the same time, too, you don't fire Chaim Bloom if you're not going to do anything, right? If you're not going to do anything and you're going to stay with the status quo, there's no reason to fire Chaim Bloom. So that one is a point in the direction that they want to do something big. Two, you don't come out and have Craig Breslow say multiple times in your opening ceremony or whatever you want to call it, opening presser, whatever, that you're going to spend big money, right? And three, you don't have the sort of unbiased national reporters or even the local reporters who really don't care about the Red Sox saying that you're going to spend big if there aren't inclinations that you're going to spend big. Maybe it's not on Yamamoto, maybe it's on someone else, but there's going to be some bigger moves this offseason. Do you think we get Torres or India? That was one of the things I wanted to bring up today. Here, I'll show you the tweet. A news outlet from Cincinnati. Proposed or tweeted that the Red Sox are talking to the Reds about Jonathan India. Problem is, this is the tweet, and I want to see if you guys pick up on what I don't like about this tweet, but I want you guys to let me know. Hold on. I want you guys to tell me what you think is wrong with this tweet right here. Why did I get upset about this tweet? And I think it'll be pretty obvious, but I want you guys to let me know. What's up, Rocket Man? Not talking about the Rookie of the Year pitcher we got today? Who are you talking about, Versatility? Oh, Andrew Bailey. I was so confused. Hot take, Arizona falls off, doesn't make the postseason because weak core and not good enough pitching. Arizona's got a good core and good pitching. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's possible. The problem is the Reds need pitching, not a bat. Nope. If we don't get Yamamoto or Snell, is that a failure? We need an ace. It depends. If they go out and they trade for an ace, then no, it's not a failure, right? But you need someone. Thank you, Robbie. Yep. The funniest part about all this is that Natty Sports, who I don't know if they're very reputable. I'm not entirely sure who runs it. I don't know too much about it. Right? The fact that they say that Tanner Houck is a name rumor, the Reds would require additional prospects. Wilkerman Gonzalez is an intriguing prospect from a Reds perspective, is really interesting to me, right? Because if that's true, the Reds are way overvaluing Jonathan India. Way overvaluing. Honestly, Houck and India alone, Houck is an overpay, right? And I can understand why maybe the Red Sox would do a 1-for-1 Jonathan India for Tanner Houck, right? You've got the prospect capital to supplement what a Houck would be within your organization and still bring on India. But at the same time, too, you're looking at this, right? Tanner Houck plus someone is nuts. And then some of these comments are crazy. Someone said that, we should throw Brian Bayo in there. He looks pretty good. Yeah, okay. We should throw Kyle Teal in there. He looks pretty good. Right? Like, you're talking about, like, Jonathan India, potential-wise, is worth a Tanner Houck, right? Problem is, he hasn't been healthy in 2 years. And when he has been healthy, he's been either playing through an injury and it's not looking good, or he's just an average major league hitter with a below-average bat. India for Verdugo straight up is more in line with what India is worth. Just objectively, right? I'm not even talking as a Red Sox fan, because when I retweeted this, I did have a Reds fan come in here and say, look, you're not looking at this objectively. How am I not looking at this objectively? Yeah, Torres Verdugo talks are dead. That's not going to happen. Overvaluing India incredibly. And again, I don't know whether this news source is legitimate. I don't know if this news source has ever had scoops like this before that have turned out to be accurate. I don't know. But they seem to try and be fairly objective. And that's what's blowing my mind, because if this is a legit media source, then even the media is overvaluing Jonathan India, which is crazy. Right? So if that's what we're looking at for the value of trading for a legit second baseman, I don't know if they do it. Well, yeah, I would do Wilcom and Gonzalez for India straight up. Yes. What about Jorge Polanco? I made a video on Jorge Polanco. I like Jorge Polanco. I would love to bring in Jorge Polanco, but he's sort of similar to Jonathan India in that he's always injured, or he has recently been always injured, right? He's just a better bat on the field with a fairly decent glove, right? It's not good. It's not really bad. India's a righty. Think Turner is gone? Yeah, Justin Turner's probably not coming back, which would suck. What would I say would be a good trade for Jonathan India? I think I'm going to be making a video tomorrow. I think I'm going to be making a video tomorrow about what a Jonathan India trade would look like for the Red Sox, and then like go through why this trade sucks, and then go through what would be a reasonable trade for Jonathan India. I don't think I'm including Tanner Houck. It'd probably be two fairly medium level prospects, right? We're probably looking at like a Wilcom Gonzalez would probably be my top tier guy, because you're probably not trading anyone in the, legitimate top 5, right? You don't need anyone like that. And I think Tanner Houck's got enough value where you don't want him. No, Andres. And we're not going to get into why, because it didn't go well last week. So what's up, him? Appreciate it. Thank you. Tommy Edman is the guy, can play second till Meyer York is healthy, then become a utility man. I'd be down with that. Yeah, I'd be very interested in Tommy Edman. I just don't know if the Cardinals are going to want to do that. Put Rafaela at second until the right guy is there. Mustache is great. Thanks. Yeah, once we hit our goal, I honestly, I can shave it whenever I want. I'm just sort of pulling I'm seeing how long I can go. I will probably shave it for Thanksgiving. I don't know if I'm going to see my girlfriend's family for Thanksgiving, and I don't know if I want to put my mustache on the Thanksgiving table like that, They should go for Eloy from the White Sox if Turner's gone. Eloy's an interesting candidate. I think the problem with Eloy is, again, injuries, right? I think you can get Eloy Jimenez production from the free agent market without having to give up prospects to get them. So I would say probably not on Eloy, but if the right price comes along, definitely an interesting option, especially as a guy who can play DH, a little bit of left field. Let's get Robert from Chicago. Yeah, let's get Robert from Chicago. Yes. Is Valdez defense potentially underrated? No, it's properly rated, man. He's not a great defensive second baseman. Doesn't mean he can't get better, right? I don't know if he's, I don't know if he's stuck where he is defensively. I think there is potential there for him to get better, but it's definitely not underrated right now. No. Did you see that Ichiro pitched a full game? Yeah, I saw that. 86 to 85 miles an hour is crazy. Any thoughts on why why the Red Sox are unable to move Verdugo? Maybe asking too much. I don't think they're in any rush to trade him. And I don't think they need to trade him, right? I mean, we look at the outfield and we're like, okay, someone's probably going to have to go, right? At some point, they're going to have to make room for somebody to be a full-time outfielder. Because right now, fighting for one spot in the outfield basically is Doogie, who shouldn't be fighting if they're going to keep him, right? Wilyer Abreu, Ceddanne Rafaela at some point. Roman Anthony's not that far away. You've got Jarren Duran. You've got Masataka Yoshida. You've got Rob Refsnyder. That's 8 players in the outfield, right? That's a lot of guys. So at some point, they're going to need to move somebody. But I think the reason why he hasn't been moved yet is because they're not trying to force a move. Because Verdugo's a fine player, right? He's not an all-star, superstar caliber player that if he walks, you're going to be upset with. I did get a new camera. Yeah, I also got new lights. You're not going to be upset with him walking after his year, right? This isn't your franchise player. So if you hold on to him, great. You know what? You get to have Doogie in a contract year where he's playing for money, which is a big motivator for a lot of people, right? And you get to play in a year where you don't have to worry about losing him because you've got a Rafaela, a Roman Anthony, a Jarren Duran, a Wilyer Abreu, who are going to be able to step in and fill that role. If they get the right move, then yeah, 100%. No, it's not just you, King. I did get a new camera. By June, in all likelihood? No, not in all likelihood. I mean, best case scenario, maybe, right? How about trading for Seiya Suzuki? They're definitely not trading him, but that'd be crazy. I think that the Sox should trade Verdugo for like a Dylan Cease. If the other problem with trading Verdugo is when you're looking at it, you're trying to trade for a starting pitcher like that from a White Sox, from a Reds, from a team that wants to give up a starting pitcher, a Brewers, I'm trying to think of the third team. I just had it on the tip of my tongue. Either way, right? Either way, any of those teams who are going into rebuild, who are trading away these stud, top of the rotation type players, are they going to want to take on a guy who has 1 year left to control and who's going to be paid about $15 million a year, right? That's a hefty salary for 1 year of a guy when you're trying to rebuild your team. That's the problem, in my opinion, right? That's the problem with trading Verdugo for one of these ace caliber pitchers is how many of these teams are going to be willing to take that 1 year deal. I don't know if Doogie gets flipped for a starting pitcher unless you're throwing in Verdugo with a Rafaela or a Nick York or a Roman Anthony, Marcelo Matt, right? Unless you're packaging him with a bigger time prospect just to say, hey, look, we'll give you what you want as long as you take on Verdugo as well. Or we'll give you half of what you want and the other half we can make up with 1 year production with Doogie, right? Those are the really only two options here. I just don't know if Alex Verdugo alone is going to give you that capital that you need to get one of these big-time starting pitchers. And so, yeah, I don't know if it's a problem with Doogie. I think it's just they're not trying to be they're not trying to be push him out the door is the best way to put it. What's up, Warrior? Brandon Woodruff's a free agent. Definitely someone the Red Sox should look into. Ichiro as manager. Just bring on the entire Japanese WBC team. I'm all in on that. Mike, you made it back. I saw you were in earlier. I would like to see the Red Sox snag Eddie Rodriguez, but I don't think Endy Rodriguez or Eddie Rodriguez. Which one did you mean there? Is Duran our most valuable outfielder right now? I'm skeptical but cautiously excited about him. I think technically Rafael. Well, I mean, if we're talking throughout the entire system, it's Roman Anthony. He's by far and away our most valuable outfielder. If you're talking at the major league level or close to the major league level, I think it's pretty close between Rafaela and Jarren Duran. Rafaela's got the higher ceiling. Jarren Duran has more success, at least right now, at the major league level. Excuse me. So I think it's, I think it's a toss-up, honestly. What's up, Dennis? How are you? QB, how you doing, man? What's up with all these experts picking Yamamoto to go to the Mets, the Yankees? It's the easy pick. It's the easy pick. It's honestly why. You know? Yeah, it's looking like, a lot of people are suggesting that he gets traded at the deadline, Doogie. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Makes sense why you'd keep him and trade him at the deadline. If he's playing in a contract year, and we saw what we saw in the first half that we saw from Doogie this year, he'll be worth something at the deadline. I wouldn't be shocked if that's what they do. Great way to end the day. That is a good way to end the day, Mike. What's my favorite Thanksgiving food? Oh, yeah, I forgot Thanksgiving's in 2 days. Oh, my God. Favorite Thanksgiving food? Man, I don't know. My girlfriend's dad makes prime rib. That's probably my favorite. But if we're talking legitimate Thanksgiving food, I'm not a huge fan of just like the standard. I'm a big fan of green bean casserole, but that's sort of a weird take. That's sort of a weird take, but I'm a big time green bean casserole guy. If we're just talking about straight up Thanksgiving food, just like the standard, what people think happened in with that first one, I am. I don't know. I like the green bean casseroles. Thanksgiving sub is really good. Butternut squash is really good too, actually. Mashed potatoes is fair, but if you make mashed potatoes correctly, they're good. Green bean casserole bangs. At least I'm not the only one. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Think Cora makes it to 25? Yeah, I do. What's up, Brian? I think Cora ends up getting extended at some point during spring training. I think they'll wait with Alex Cora. I think they'll want to secure the rest of the team, then worry about him. Where do I think Ohtani will end up? I mean, the correct answer is the Dodgers. I don't see anyone going higher than the Dodgers are going to go to get Ohtani, which sucks. But it just, they have the 16th lowest payroll in baseball right now. They have every single one. They have, what am I trying to say? They have all of the capital to do it. They have all of it, right? They're 16th in baseball in payroll. They have total spending power. Yeah. It sucks. Not for King, but for everyone else, yes. Odds, Meyer, Anthony, and Teal all on the team by deadline. I would say pretty high. I would be honest with you. I would say pretty high. I think there's a lot of people who, including myself, who don't think those guys are off the table because they should be on the table, right? If they're trying to get that big-time stud starting pitcher, he should be on the table. But at the same time, too, it needs to be that perfect fit trade, right? You can't just be going and guns a-blazing and be like, Seattle, give me George Kirby for Marcelo Meyer, right? Because then it's like, okay, well, now that he's on the table, what else can we get, right? What else can we get? So it needs to be a perfect trade scenario, and I don't know if that happens. The odds of that happening are fairly low. I would say it's a pretty good chance that we hang on to Meyer, Anthony, and Teal. I thought the Giants were front runners for Ohtani. They might be like third or fourth, but Giants are sneaky in my opinion. You see the Dodgers are trying to get Mike Trout and Ohtani now? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if they actually do it, which sucks even more. Corbin, how do you feel if the Red Sox somehow trade for Corbin Burnes or Luis Castillo as a number one? If they miss out on Yamamoto, then sign Monty or Snell. I'd be happy with it, right? I've said this all along, and I think every Red Sox fan should kind of have the similar thought process because it's accurate. I think Yamamoto is the big target, right? Yamamoto is the end goal. If you can get Yamamoto, you get Yamamoto by any means necessary. If you miss out on Yamamoto, that doesn't mean the offseason is a failure. It doesn't mean the offseason is ruined. It doesn't mean that they can't have a successful offseason. And I think that's absolutely one of the ways that you could do it, right? Trading for Burnes, trading for Luis Castillo, signing a Jordan Montgomery, something like that, right? I think there's 1,000% ways that you can make this offseason successful without actually having to sign Yamamoto. It just makes everything so much easier. Who do I think the Red Sox will get to coach third base? I have no idea, man. I'm so bad at knowing coaches in Major League Baseball, Alex. I'm like the worst at it. You ask me about a player, I'm good to go. But second you ask me, I don't even know managers. I don't think I can name all the AL East managers. Kevin Cash, Kevin Cash, Aaron Boone, Alex Cora. I don't know. I don't know the Blue Jays or the Orioles. I'm terrible with coaches. So I don't know. Do you think the Red Sox will give up? What do you think the Red Sox will give up for India? Rumors are heating up. I don't think it'll be what the Cincinnati Reds are looking for. I don't think it actually works out. Because if they are looking for Houck, I think they're asking too much. Do you think there's a chance that we bring back Verdugo on a multi-year contract? Feels strange to give up our only Gold Glove candidate this year. I would say the odds are pretty low. I don't think the organization's too high on him. What's the closest guy to Schilling, Beckett, or Sale that we could get? Burnes. Burnes probably pretty close. In terms of a trade, Burnes is probably pretty damn close. Who is the number one free agent trade player that would be awesome for the Red Sox that no one's talking about? I think Lourdes Gurriel for free agents. I think trade-wise, Luis Castillo is a good option, Pac-Man. I saw that GG put that out there. Luis Castillo is a good one. I'm going to say Luis Castillo. Can you do a top 5 Red Sox players need to be dealt this offseason video? Yeah, at some point we could do that. Athletics versus Dodgers spending power makes baseball amazing in a way. It does. Snell works for you. I don't know if I'm all in on Snell. Snell's inconsistent. We need to sign Soler. It's a must. Right-handed power. Soler's fine. I don't know. See you later, Mark. Thanks for coming by, my friend. I don't know if Soler's the end-all be-all there. There are multiple different options that I think actually give you more versatility. Renfroe? Definitely not. I'm okay on Renfroe. I like that hot take, Shane. I play Fortnite? Yeah, I do. Trout's value is a lot lower than I think people expect it to be. Brandon Hyde, that's who I couldn't think of. Yeah, I think those are the top 5, Prodigy. I hope the Sox don't trade Duran. That kid is going to be a problem. If Duran gets flipped for a true number 1 starting pitcher, I'm all in on it. It would suck to lose him. Yes, he has a high potential, but man, I don't think I'm having him stand in the way of a. I don't think I'm having him stand in the way of a number 1 starting pitcher. If the Seattle Mariners come to us and they're like, look, if you throw Duran in with a couple of other mid-level prospects, we'll give you George Kirby. I don't think there's anyone that should say no to that. As much as I love Jarren Duran, and I think you're right. I think he's going to be a problem. I think he's going to be a problem, but I also think that he's too much value right now, and the Red Sox have a lot of options in the outfield. Losing him would suck, but it wouldn't completely, mitigate your chances of being successful this year and in the future as well. All right, so let me do a proposed trade for Jonathan India because people keep asking about it, and now that I'm curious, I'm looking it up. All right, so according to baseball trade values, again, I have to say this every time because there are people who don't totally agree with baseball trade values. I don't personally myself totally agree with baseball trade values, but they are a great place to start when you're talking about sort of baseline. What would it take to get so-and-so? And I think that's a good starting point for when we're talking about Jonathan India. Right now, he's worth about $7.7 million. So for the Red Sox, oops, started at the bottom. Also, Trevor Story being negative 80 is hilarious. Okay. So for the Red Sox, you could hypothetically, if Shane Drohan doesn't get ripped, and then you go like Shane Drohan and Emmanuel Valdez, that should get it done realistically, that is a good trade for Jonathan India, right? You've got a starting pitcher who's close to Major League ready, who can work with Lodolo, Hunter Green, that sort of repertoire of pitching, and be your sort of 4 and 5 type guy. And then you got Emmanuel Valdez, who a good lefty bat, could get better defensively, maybe be able to be hidden there at second base, right? This is what you should be looking for from the Red Sox for Jonathan India. Something like this, right? It doesn't have to be exactly this, but along the lines of this. Now look at, okay, so the proposed that the Reds are supposedly wanting is this, right? You're talking about more than double the value of Jonathan India for Tanner Houck. And then they want, on top of that, they want a Kyle Teel. Pardon me, right? If you want to throw in Kyle Teel, we'll take Lodolo. Give me that, and then we could start having these conversations. Not even accepting them, not even getting close to accepting them, but then we can start having those conversations. But just these, that's insane. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. So, yeah, that would be a realistic one. Have I seen MLB's new video? Not sure. Verdugo and Meyer for George Kirby. See, now that's like a trade that I think you put Meyer on the table for. Do you think Duvall will be back? I think of all the free agents the Red Sox have on the open market right now, Duvall's the most likely one to come back. Does that make sense? I think Trout's a Philly if he gets traded. If Trout gets traded, I'd love for him to go to Philly, but I don't think he'll get traded. Most likely Red Sox acquisition. Probably Cease, I guess. Do you think Philly's overpaying for Nola will be worth it? Do you think the Red Sox will overpay for a number one like they did with Sale? I think they're going to have to. If they truly want a number one in the open market, is that who he was trying to say? See you later, Alex. Thanks for coming by, my friend. Yeah, I think whatever starting pitcher you're going to want and you want to go get, you're going to have to overpay for. And it's just the fact that you've got your top really 4 pitchers on the market, and then it drops off pretty fast. You got to overpay. You have to. Sign Eduardo Rodriguez. I would say maybe if you miss out on everyone else, fine. I would love Brandon Drury, by the way. I think Brandon Drury would be a fantastic addition. What about Dahlbeck and Valdez? That might get it done. It'll be close. I don't think so, though. I'm not trading Houck for prospects unless it's Corbin Burns. Yeah, if it's Corbin Burns, fine, right? If Corbin Burns is on the table and the Red Sox can get him, done. King, because they're not really selling, right? They're just sort of reshuffling, basically. They're going to be looking for someone who's major league ready because right now they've got a really good core. What's up, Edgar? They've got a really good core of players, right? But you've got 3-4 players right now who have done better last season than Jonathan India. He becomes expendable when you can fill in his role and not lose too much offensively. Will JT come back? I'm leaning towards no. Appreciate you, Madden. Thanks for being here, my friend. I think we're gonna sign Montgomery. I wouldn't be surprised if we sign Montgomery. I think he seems pretty like a realistic option. What's up, Martin? What's your final prediction for Shohei and Yamamoto? I do, yes, him. I think Yamamoto. I think Yamamoto's a Red Sox. I think they're being eerily quiet about it, and I think Ohtani goes to the Dodgers. Although I kind of want to say Giants or Seattle, like King has been saying. Brandon Belt, backup first baseman. If Brandon Belt was a righty, I'd say maybe Eric, but it wouldn't make a ton of sense to bring someone in like that, who's a lefty, who's not good against righties, and who isn't good against lefties and wasn't good against righties this year. So I don't know if that's really an option. I think there are better options out there. I think trading for Drury's a fantastic one. If they do want a right-handed first baseman, I would say Rhys Hoskins is a better option. Are we showing any interest in Yamamoto? Haven't heard anything yet, but that kind of makes me feel better. Because if we heard a lot about the Red Sox being interested, usually that means they're not going to get him. So the fact that we haven't heard anything makes me really happy. Drury would be great. Yeah, Drury I think is a fantastic option. Fantastic. Sonny Gray. I don't think they're very interested in Sonny Gray. Does Marcelo Meyer have a future in Boston? I think so. Do I like Andrew Bailey as our new pitching coach? Love Andrew Bailey as our new pitching coach. Absolutely love that. What are the odds you give the Red Sox to land Yamamoto? DraftKings says I'm second behind the Mets last time I checked. Usually the DraftKings and the betting world has a pretty good pulse on what teams are planning on doing. Because they don't want to lose money. So usually those aren't super inaccurate. I don't know what the odds I would say are. Yeah, Derek, I'm all set on Bauer. Yeah, I think Bailey's going to do a lot of wonders for this team. I absolutely loved doing always bet on Vegas. What's up, Gritty? Yeah, I kind of like that, King. It's not clear cut this year. Like last year, it felt kind of clear cut. It didn't end up being clear cut, but it felt kind of clear cut. I think this year, it's really like there's no way that we know where people are going. Yeah, it got confirmed a couple of days ago. What's up, Craig? Do I want Jonathan India? I think he's an upgrade. If he could stay healthy and play a full season, then yeah, I absolutely want Jonathan India. I think he is a good upgrade here, but I don't know. He just needs to stay healthy. Yeah, the Oakland A's stuff is brutal. What happened to Meyer? Nothing. Meyer had a setback in his rehab. Would that just come out? I wouldn't be shocked if he needed surgery. I'm looking to see this Marcelo Meyer stuff. I must have missed it. Three days ago, I don't know where you guys saw that. 3 days ago, Marcelo Meyer who resumed swinging this fall in Fort Myers while rehabbing from a left shoulder impingement, is now home in California on a strength program and will be reevaluated after Thanksgiving. Expectation is still that he won't require surgery and that he'll be ready for a normal spring. So I don't see anything about him. I don't see anything about a setback. Yeah, I don't think it was really a setback. I don't think it was really a setback. It doesn't look like it, at least. It says, yeah, everywhere I'm looking has the same quote. Marcel Myers resumed swinging in Fort Myers while rehabbing from a left shoulder. He's now out in Cali. Blah, 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 blah. The Sox still expect Myers' injury won't require surgery, and he'll be a full go for spring training. So I wouldn't worry about it yet. No, it's not your fault, Edgar. Yeah, I mean, the article says Red Sox prospect suffers injury setback during offseason rehab. But there's no mention of the setback or what the setback is. So I have no idea what the setback was, and it doesn't appear to be something that's urgent right now. So what about Sandy Alcantara for a bounce back year? His value may be a little low right now. I think his value is still insane. If they could get Sandy, I'm all in, but I don't think they're going to get Sandy. I don't think they have a chance of getting Sandy, I should say. Alcantara. And he's only worth $15 million right now, according to baseball trade values. But I just don't think that I really don't think they trade him. I'd be pretty surprised. What do you think about trading Dahlbeck, Valdez, and Hunter Dobbins for Jonathan India? If they can get that, then I'm all in. Sometimes the sports media just screws up. I don't think it was really a screw up. I think there was clearly some sort of setback, but I don't think it was the setback that's going to be like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Sandy is out for 2024. I forgot about that. Do the Red Sox have a chance for Jazz Chisholm? No. And honestly, Jazz isn't really a great fit. What do you think of the Astros for next year? I think they'll be back in the playoffs. It'll be fine. I don't think they nuked their roster, Warrior. No. I think there are going to be rumors about it all offseason, but I don't think so. I would love Ha-Seong Kim, but I don't think it's going to happen. Last year they held him pretty close to the vest for good reason. I think this year they'll do the same thing. Trade for Zach Geloff and Mason Miller. Think they'll go after Woodruff? They should. Yeah, it was just a rumor, Derek. Management lets Breslow spend some money this year. Again, I think all signs are pointing towards full go. I think I would be pretty shocked if they didn't spend some considerable money this year. Yeah. Woodruff would be out for next season. Be like a James Paxton type deal, except with a way higher upside. Cashman or Bloom if you're forced to choose. Cashman is 3 World Series, so I'll take him. What's up, Harrison? Whit Merrifield at second. Yeah, that one just seems like a match made in heaven, although I don't know what the Red Sox are planning to do with second base. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I miss you guys too. These every other week ones are throwing me off because it feels like it's been 6 weeks since we've last talked, but it's really only been 14 days. Red Sox spend $500 million this offseason. Hot take. I would be pumped. I don't know if it'll be that high, but. Do you think Kevin Massa would help us get Yamamoto? I don't know how good of friends they are, right? Because that's ultimately what it boils down to. There are plenty of people who come from similar areas and don't like each other, or don't know each other, right? So it's hard for me to sit here and say, yeah, because they're both from Japan, Yamamoto's going to love playing for the Red Sox. You know what I mean? Like, it just that to me feels weird. So I honestly don't know what impact Masataka is going to have on Yoshinobu, but If they're friends, then yeah, probably. I just don't know what that relationship is. I think from what I remember, they do have a good relationship, so it should be a plus. But I just don't know if that's going to be something that, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't know if that's going to be something that truly makes or breaks whether or not Yamamoto comes here. How do you think Trevor Story will be this coming year? I think he'll be good. Look like Randy Marsh from South Park. The mustache is almost done, chat. That was his old teammate. Yeah, again, though, right? Like, Alex Cora, this is a different situation, but Alex Cora and Craig Breslow were teammates, but they didn't really talk, right? There's 26 men. I don't know how many there are in Japan. I think it's around that. What's up, Butt Munch? It's all good, my friends. So I don't know. I don't know. Instead of trading for a second baseman, can Meyer play second base? Probably. He probably can, but he's not going to be ready in time for opening day. He's probably going to be ready for the end of 2024, honestly, unless he's fully healthy and ready to go. Will Eddie Romero be the next GM of the Red Sox? I hope so. I hope he is. No, we haven't heard anything about a GM yet. Heard Dodgers are going after Ohtani, Trout, and Cease. Yep, going to be interesting. Meyer is definitely more of a shortstop, but that doesn't mean he's going to come up and immediately be the starting shortstop, right? That's like Xander Bogaerts, who was the essential captain of the Boston Red Sox for years, came up and played third base, right? It'll probably be something similar to that. Yeah, it's really funny versatility. I love it. I absolutely love the fact that our CBO is a former player and World Series champion. Our manager is a former player, World Series champion, and champion as a manager. One of your bench coaches is quite literally the captain of the Boston Red Sox. Your new pitching coach played in Boston, won in Boston, right? That's a lot of winning culture. I love that. I absolutely love that. Who's Yamamoto's agents? Wolf, right? Tom Wolf, something like that. You think with the Bailey signing, it would bring these pitchers here? I think it could be a helpful hand, yeah. Tim Anderson could be a solid option for second base. Yeah, if the Red Sox want to take a flyer on Tim Anderson for 2 years, I'm down. Yeah, Manny Ramirez needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Do you think Duvall comes back? I think of all the free agents that the Red Sox have in the open market right now, Duvall's the most likely to come back. What's up, him? As much as I like Verdugo, I think we should trade him for a right-handed outfielder. Yeah, I think if they trade Verdugo, it won't be for a starting pitcher. It'll be for a position player. What did you think of Adrian Gonzalez's 2 years in Boston? I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty good. I thought he got a lot of hate in that, 2011 season? Is that right? What was he, 2010, 2011? 2011, I think, was the year they fell apart. But overall, he had a pretty good statistical run with the Red Sox. Joe Wolf, that's it. You see former players staying close to the game means that they know what it takes to be there and stay there? Yep. Who wins AL MVP? It's a little early for that. I would guess, I'm going to say Rafael Devers wins AL MVP. Yeah, Anderson was terrible last year, but everyone on the Chicago Cubs was terrible last year. Absolutely everyone. I'm sorry, on the White Sox was terrible last year. So I don't know. Maybe they hope he can have a bounce back season. If we don't get Yamamoto, what does Plan B look like? In my opinion, Michael, Plan B is sign Montgomery. Well, Plan B should always be sign Montgomery. I think you sign Montgomery either way. Then instead of going after a Snell, you trade for a controlled starting pitcher, whether that be a one-year controlled starting pitcher like Cease, Burns, or a multi-year controlled starting pitcher like Keller or someone else in that realm. I think you go the trade route. Marcelo Meyer gets compared to Corey Seager a lot. Do you like that comparison? I don't like comparisons to any major league player. I don't like those comparisons because it almost puts a either a ceiling or an unachievable ceiling on a prospect, and I just like watching prospects be themselves. So I don't love when people say that. Playing ball at UTK, I didn't know that. It's too bad the Red Sox suck when Aegon was there. Yeah, I know. I feel like we're trying to get back to that old school culture. Honestly, they could be. That could be a start of it. I don't know. What would be a realistic offseason for us? What players would we pick up? I would say realistically, what's up, Ethan? I would say realistically an ace, a number 2, and then a second baseman. I think that's sort of what we can expect. Who those players are, I have no idea. Not sure. Dylan Cease to Boston, I'd be very down for that. What do you think Chris Sale's role will be going forward? I think Chris Sale will be a 4 or 5. Let him be a 4 or 5. Let go of that sort of expectation that he needs to make 30 starts, be in the AL Cy Young conversation, right? Let him be himself. If you let him be himself and be in that 4 spot and say, hey, look, Chris, we're not expecting anything out of you this year. You don't need to be the ace of the team. You don't need to be the champion of the rotation, right? You just need to be you. I think he'll have a pretty good year. Even if it's 24, 23 starts, right? That's still a pretty good season for Chris Sale. Is it worth the money that we're paying him? No, but it's still a good season. And what you're talking about is an ace caliber pitcher who's in your 4 spot. It's a pretty good rotation, if you ask me. Do you think we can see more players start signing? When do you think we see more players start signing? Probably end of next week towards winter meetings would be my guess, is when we start to see some players come off the board. Montgomery makes a lot of sense for Boston. It does. Makes a lot of sense. How's my offseason? It's pretty good, Ethan. How's yours? Maybe time to make Sale a relief pitcher. You don't need him to be a relief pitcher, right? Because you got better options in the bullpen. Guys who have been relief pitchers recently. Houck, Whitlock, Cutter, Pavetta. A combination of probably 2 of those guys are going to be in your bullpen. You don't really need Chris Sale in there. Crawford in the starting rotation next year? I say yes. I don't know, though. It depends on who they get, right? It's hard. It's so hard to put together a picture of what the Red Sox rotation is going to look like, because that's the place that needs the most shaken up. Any news on a Costas extension? Nothing. If the Red Sox get Hoskins, do you think Costas moves to third and Devers becomes a DH? I don't. Hey, Corbin. Hey, Salty. What do you think about just getting the best arms available and just going 4 innings and move on to the next guy? I don't think that's sustainable over an entire season. I think your bullpen gets burnt out really quickly if you do that. Would I do Meyer, Doogie, Houck, and Drohan for Soto and Bogarts, with the Padres taking like 75% of Bogarts' contract? No. Maybe. That's awesome, Ethan. It's always good when you have someone to talk baseball with. I love talking baseball with you guys, so I got you guys to talk about it with. What are your thoughts on the Campbell trade, rated 1 to 10? For what it is, I mean, overall, right, on the trade scale, it's probably like a 3. But if we're talking about the trade isolated by itself, it's like a 7 or an 8 for the Red Sox. A really solid trade, I think. How about Jung-Hoo Lee? Any interest by the Sox? He's a lefty outfielder, probably not, Lord. As much as he would make sense, Jeff, I don't think so. Masa Takayoshida walk-up song needs to be Macho Man. It was in Japan, and he changed it when he came over to the U.S. Should the Red Sox sign Matt Chapman and have Devers go to DH? No. I'm good with Matt Chapman. Our starting pitching takes a step forward next year, no cap. I think one of the things that really intrigued me about Andrew Bailey is that in his press conference today, he made it a point to mention that he wants to work with Garrett Whitlock, which I love, right? I think Garrett Whitlock has a ton of potential still. I know some people doubt it. Even if it's not in a starting role, Even if it's not in a starting role, I think Garrett Whitlock has a ton of potential. So I'm excited to see what Andrew Bailey can do with these young pitchers in our rotation. Is Chaim Bloom with the Cardinals? Why? Because they got Lance Lynn and I want to say Zach Wilson, but that's the quarterback for the Jets. Kyle Gibson. They kind of rhyme, right? That's why it threw me off. Who's the second best Japanese pitching free agent, and would the Red Sox be interested? Shota Manga. Yeah, I think the Red Sox would have some interest in that for sure. I think Shota's more like a 3 or a 4 type pitcher, but if the Red Sox supplement, Yamamoto with a Shota or supplement, Shota with a Burns, I think it'd be pretty solid. I think that'd be a pretty solid rotation. So, yeah, I don't know. Would the Red Sox be interested? I would guess probably. I don't think it's going to be for a little bit, though. I think the order of free agency is going to go Yamamoto signs probably a week or two into December, and then Ohtani signs probably few days after that, and then it sort of cascades down from there. And then you start to see the Shotas, the Montgomerys, the Snells, the Lorenzens, the Gurriels, the Teoscars, all those guys go. So I think we're going to see a flurry of signings in December. Cespedes was wild on the Red Sox. Which young pitcher on the Red Sox would you put on the trade block? All of them. All of them, right? I don't think anyone's safe. I think the Red Sox should put Houck, Whitlock, Cutter, Pivetta, Winkowski, Schreiber, all of them. Not on the block to try and trade them, but if they're going to stand in the way of someone that's going to genuinely improve this team, I'm not saying no, and I don't think anyone should. What's up, Edward? Where do you see Pivetta next year? I think he'll be with the Red Sox. I think he'll be in a hybrid role, sort of serving as a part-time 6-man in the rotation when guys need days off or stuff like that, but mostly out of the bullpen. Would I be happy with getting Fujinami? No. The Orioles couldn't fix Fujinami. He had a bad year with Oakland. He's too wild. He's way too wild. And that's a big problem for the Red Sox, right? How much would I personally offer Ohtani? Ohtani's such an interesting case. I think we're going to see one of the most interesting contracts in sports history with Ohtani. But I would do something like every year that he's only a DH, I would do $29 million a year. Every time he's a DH and a pitcher, I would do $45 million a year. And I would do that for 8 years. So I don't know, whatever that works out to, math-wise. That's what I would do. And I don't think he'll take it, but that's what I would do for Shohei Ohtani. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but think about it, right? You don't want the Red Sox to be totally bogged down. And if Ohtani does what Ohtani believes he can do, then he'll be getting paid $45 million a year. So I think that's someone that, yeah, Fujinami he did better. He did a lot better with the Orioles than he did with the Oakland Athletics, but he still finished with a 7.18 ERA, 57 ERA plus. Problem is the walks per 9 were almost as high as the strikeouts per 9. Right? I mean, look at this. 5.1 walk per 9 and a 9.5 strikeouts per 9. That's crazy. It was only marginally better with the Orioles. It's not like he improved a ton with the Orioles. I think he just was getting better situations with the Orioles. He wasn't starting games with the Orioles. So I don't know. Fujinami, to me, makes no sense for the Red Sox. Hopefully he can figure it out, though. I'd love to see him. I would love to see him come back. and be good. What's up, Bucky? Yeah, it has been a while. Do you think ownership will let Breslow spend, or do they control him like they did Bloom? I think they're letting him spend. I like how as a 4 or 5 on this team for the future, so I think the Red Sox trade Cutter. I would rather have Cutter. Am I still lagging? The Red Sox are more likely this year to sign someone early with 3 open roster spots open. Yeah, I don't know. The Red Sox have been open about what they're doing in free agency and also really quiet as well. So I think whatever the first move is going to surprise a lot of people. Whatever the first move is. I am lagging. It's not saying anything's happening on stream. Yeah, it says it's a healthy stream. Still lagging? It says it's healthy. It might be something on YouTube end. I could try turning it down to 30 FPS and see what happens. How much are the chicken wings at Fenway Park? I don't know. If it gets too bad, tell me. If it gets too bad, tell me. Yeah, it's probably like $27. Encoder overloaded. Consider turning on your video setting your faster encoding preset. All right, I'm going to turn down my frames per FPS and see what happens. I can't do it unless I end the video. It's better? All right. Well, might just have to suffer through it. Fenway prices are highway robbery, yeah. If we can't get Yamamoto, who do we pick up? I think they go Jordan Montgomery, and they trade for a starting pitcher. Because I think that makes the most sense, right? I don't know if there's anyone who would give you the same output as Yamamoto that's on the open market. It's going to be tough to match that level of youth and potential skill for the value you're getting, right? So I would say pivot. Pivot if you don't get Yamamoto. Go for a trade and pick up Montgomery, because I still think that's a successful offseason, right? I think Blake Snell's a really talented pitcher. He's a very talented pitcher, but I also think at the same time, too, when we're talking about Blake Snell, you got to include the fact that he hasn't pitched over 200 innings in, I don't even know, right? It's been a long time. And so he's so good that he wins Cy Young Awards without having these insane innings totals, right? But I think for the Red Sox, age-wise, right, this is going to be a contract that's probably going to go 7-8 years. What's that going to look like when he's 37, 38? How's that going to look? Wins to me aren't exactly a huge indicator of how good a pitcher is going to be, Tim. And I think it's still useful. But at the same time, too, I think a lot of wins in terms of pitching relies heavily on your offense, and it relies heavily on the team's ability to score runs, right? Because if you could go out there and you could have a 2-11 win record but have a 1.8 ERA, your offense just sucks. So it's hard for me to be like, oh, he's only won 8 games twice. This isn't the type of pitcher we want, but there is some merit to it. If there's a guy on the, Cincinnati Reds, the Kansas City Royals, who has 15 wins and his offense sucks, then hey, this guy, he goes deep into games. He so good that even when his team scores 1-2 runs, you probably have that win. So there's some merit to it, but I don't know if a lack of wins is really something that is really something that should define a pitcher. Does that make sense, Tim? I'm not trying to dig into you or anything. I'm just trying to explain my thought process. We need to bring up Ronaldo Hernandez. I am all set on that. Not a good defensive catcher. Had some decent offense this year. I also think he's a free agent. Snell's a Cy Young guy once every 3 years, so I'm good without him. Yeah, I think that's fair. When do you think they call up Marcelo Meyer? When he's healthy. When he's fully healthy and they believe he's going to stay healthy, that's when they'll call him up. I would hope that it would be late 2024, but it could be early 2025 too. When was the last time the Red Sox signed 2 quality free agent pitchers in the offseason? Yes, I believe so, Ethan. 2 quality free agent pitchers, man. I don't even know, man. I couldn't. Does extensions to Eovaldi and Sale in the same year count? It's kind of it, right? I don't. Price was the last big pitcher they signed. He wasn't signed with anyone else. I couldn't tell you. Honestly, Gritty, I don't know the answer to that. Glasnow to me is interesting. It would depend. I don't think the Red Sox are going to be willing to give up the prospect capital to the Tampa Bay Rays that it would take to get him here. I would also be really worried about Glasnow's injury. I don't think there's been a season yet where he stayed healthy. I think there was maybe 2 seasons early on in his career. Yeah, he's never made more than 21 starts. This year was the most starts he made in his entire career. So the prospect capital we'd have to give up to get him and give to the Rays, to me, is just too much. I'm going to remember this, Chance, and I'm going to specifically put your comment in the video when we do sign Yamamoto. It's crazy how Senga's going hard to recruit Yamamoto, but nothing on Yoshida trying to recruit him. It's because the Mets have a lot. The Mets are very public with what they want to do. The Red Sox aren't. The Red Sox are not. Am I going to Winter Weekend this year? Yes, I am. I'm gonna do another vlog. Did you guys like because I tried to put my hat in the ring for a media pass. Did not work. Well, actually, my girlfriend did it for me. Did not work. So it's gonna have to be from the fan perspective again. Are you guys all right with that? I don't know. I don't know if you guys liked that last year. I feel like loved it. Okay. I just want to make sure you guys liked it. Because I don't want to do it if you guys are like, oh, look at this idiot again. Like, I could do that. You know what I mean? But I think it's kind of cool to get the view from a fan and see what's going on. Springfield's an unusual spot. Yeah. Oh, you know what it was? You know what I bet it is, chat? I bet it's this. All right, yeah, you have a happy Thanksgiving too, Ethan. I don't know why it took me so hard. I totally get wanting him to come, but thinking it being realistic, I just don't get. I think the problem here is that it makes too much sense for the Red Sox, right? My other thing too that's giving me a lot of hope, Chance, is the fact that we haven't seen anything about him. We haven't seen anything about the Red Sox talking to Yam. Like we were just talking about it with Pac-Man here that, it's been very publicized that Kodai Senga is saying that he wants Yamamoto to be on the Boston or be on the New York Mets, right? We haven't heard anything about Yamamoto. We haven't heard anything from Craig Breslow. We haven't heard anything, right? The Mets have been very public about it, but there's 2 ways of going about this, right? There's 2 ways of going about this. And I think the Red Sox always choose the route of, hey, we're not going to say a damn thing until we do it. And so to me, that's getting me a little bit more excited. I think on top of that too, a lot of people that are like, oh man, this ownership will never give them the money to spend. This ownership is never going to allow them to do that. All this sort of stuff. Kind of forget sometimes that it's the same ownership that needed a starting pitcher and went out and gave out the largest starting pitching contract at the time to David Price, right? They're the same people that went out. They wanted JD Martinez. They got JD Martinez. This is not the same organization it used to be. I think you're just looking at it from a different angle. I think you are. I think you're taking the angle that, hey, everything is going to go poorly for the Red Sox because this has been the last 2 years, right? This has been the last 2 years. When you've got another 18 years on top of that where they've done the exact opposite. They've done the exact opposite, right? So, for me, it's like, okay, well, you could take a look at the last 2 years and say, oh, they're not going to do anything. Look at the last 2 years. You could say last 3 years, 2020 to 2023. They're not going to do anything because of that. Even though last offseason they gave out $100 million to Masataka Yoshida. They gave out the most lucrative relief pitching contract to Kenley Jansen. They got Justin Turner. They got Adam Duvall. And then they paid $300 million to Rafael Devers, right? I mean, you say that, Chance, but at the same time, what's so unappealing about Boston than New York, than LA? Genuinely, what's so unappealing about Boston? Masataka Yoshida didn't have a single problem with Boston. Yeah, Tim. Those videos really get me excited. Snow. But snow's in New York too, right? People be like, oh, New York's still a destination. Why isn't Boston? But there's not a legitimate reason people say that other than the fact that is Yamamoto or Montgomery and a bat like Gurriel realistic, or is that too much? I don't think that's too much. I don't know if that is going to happen, but I don't think that's too much. I would say a number one, a number two, and a second baseman is probably realistic. Taxes is the only legitimate reason I've heard, but New York has really bad taxes, and then on top of that, LA's got terrible taxes, right? I also have worries about his size and the transition to the league. People are acting like it's a given he'll be an ace. I think a lot of people's worries with people from Japan coming over to the United States are plagued in stuff that has happened years ago, right? When we were talking about back in the day with guys like Daisuke with Red Sox fans, people are like, whoa, LA is way more appealing than Boston. You didn't give me a reason, though. That sort of stuff happens because back then, Japanese baseball was more equivalent to AAA baseball in the United States. Nowadays, right, you're seeing guys like Kodai Senga, who comes over here, and you could add it to the list of, say, a Suzuki. Masataka Yoshida still had a really solid season. Obviously, Ohtani had a really great career with Major League Baseball, right? And it's because the talent in Japan is getting to a point where it's almost more realistic than it was 15 years ago. Matt Strahm has been elite past 5 to 10 years. Justin Steele was in the running for second place in the Cy Young, and I believe he's under or right around 6 feet. 6 foot even. Let me think of some other 5'10" guys. I mean, it's rare, right? It's an interesting conversation to have, but I think at the same time too, we've gotten to the point now where in baseball, you don't have to be 6'10" to be successful for a super long period of time, right? I think with the way analytics have evolved, with the way that conditioning and development has evolved, size isn't as much of a limiter as it once was too. And so I just think there aren't too many 5'10 starters. Thank you so much, Tim. Can we get some claps in the chat for Tim with his $1.99 super chat? That means a ton to me, Tim. Thank you so much. Can we get some claps, ladies and gentlemen? Billy Wagner's a good example of an elite closer. He threw 102 too. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Tim. Thank you. Yeah, Ichiro could still sling it. Ichiro could still sling it. I agree, CW. Yeah, Rokai Sasaki is going to be a crazy fight to get him here. Is LA more appealing, though? Yeah, I don't know. I already gave you one chance. It's Marcus Stroman. .365 career ERA, 116 ERA plus, top 10 Cy Young finisher, 2-time All-Star. Yeah, that's Roki Sasaki, Jeff. That's who we were just talking about. Yeah, Roki Sasaki would be incredible. Again, I think you could be successful. I think you could be successful. All right, I don't know. I don't even know how to Google this. MLB starters under 6 feet. Is that even a thing? All right, let's see. Justin Turner's under 6 feet. You know that? Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray had a really great year this year. Throw him in there. He was in the Cy Young conversation. I think he finished 5th or 6th. Neither of them have elite velo. Sonny Gray or Marcus Stroman don't have elite velo. Jose Alvarado. He's under 6 feet. Pedro was under 6 feet. And it's not like people are saying that Yamamoto can't get his velo up. He's hit when he needs to, he hits 97, 98. I don't think his velo is gonna be a problem. Greg Holland. Throw him in there. These are just active guys. I don't know about the last 10 years. I don't know the heights of people. Because to be honest with you, I don't really care. It doesn't, but the problem you're making, Chance, is that it's extremely rare, right? But it's not impossible. Right? And again, to be honest with you, we're talking about an entirely different game than 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, right? We're talking about an entirely different game. There's better analytics, there's better movement, there's better velocity, there's better everything. So I don't think it's really like hey, I don't know, guys. I don't know if this guy can do it. He's not 6 feet tall. If he was 2 more inches taller, then it's hey. Then it's hey. We'll give you $27 million a year, but those 2 inches, yikes. You know what I mean? No one's saying he's a sure thing. No one's saying he's your sure thing, but he's too talented right now to not give him the benefit of the doubt. Because again, recently you've seen a lot of very successful Japanese players come over here. A lot of major league scouts who also scouted Kodai Senga at the same time said that they believed that Kodai Senga had a better splitter and a better fastball, but overall, when we're talking about levels to these players, Yoshinobu Yamamoto was a league above Kodai Senga, okay? So remember that. Now let's put that into a bit of context, okay? Now Kodai Senga is 6'1", so we're talking 3 inches here. For those of you who cared enough about his height that you're debating whether or not to give him a contract, right? So we're talking 3 inches. We're talking a level below Yamamoto, according to the same scouts who scouted Senga and Yamamoto. And for what Senga gave you his rookie year was a 2.98 ERA with a 363 FIP, a 142 ERA plus. He was an all-star. He was a Cy Young candidate, top 10, and the second in Rookie of the Year voting. Right? What we're talking about here is a guy who could be better than that. Right? So to me, when we're looking at it, why people are saying throw him the bag, why we see people saying throw him the bag is because of that right there. Right? This dude's got 5 pitches that he can throw 4 strikes with movement that he gets swing and misses on that are above average. Right? We're And on top of that, too, Kodai came into the league at, 30 years old? 30 years old? We're talking about Yamamoto 5 years removed from that. 25. What this is essentially doing, and why people are saying throw the bag at him, why people are saying, hey, blank check, why I'm saying give him a blank check, is because of the fact that this dude is 25 years old. You're essentially signing a prospect who already has 7 years of professional baseball experience. Not just, hey, this dude was out there, he's throwing pitches for 7 years. We'll see what he could do in the major leagues, right? We're talking about the best pitcher on planet Earth over those 7 years, basically, right? A below 2 ERA, 3 Cy Youngs, 3 Japanese Triple Crowns, 2 ERA leader awards, which includes relievers, 6 All-Star appearances, right? What you're talking about is not just, hey, this guy was pretty good in Japan, he's the best free agent available, throw him the money. No, you're throwing him the money because he's an investment. You're throwing him the money because over the next 5 years, you are getting statistically the 5 best years of this pitcher, of any player, right? 25 to 30 are usually your best seasons. Sometimes it's 27 to 33, but it's in that range, right? So now you look at it and you're like, okay, is there going to be regression when he comes to Major League Baseball? 100%. There always is, and there's going to be, right? But what does that regression look like at 25 to 30 compared to 30 to 37, right? There's a big difference there, and that's why this is such an interesting conversation, is because it's not a guy on the, who played a career in Japan and is now coming over to see what he can do in baseball with the last 10 years he has available to play. We're talking about a guy who could play for 15 years in Major League Baseball. That's a Hall of Fame career. All right, so you're looking at Yamamoto and you're like, well, he's not Roki Sasaki, he's not Shohei Ohtani, and that's fine. You could say that, yes. And I think Roki Sasaki will come over and, based on what Yamamoto does, really make a big splash. And I think he's going to be maybe the better pitcher overall. But right now, with what the Red Sox are looking at, Yoshinobu is younger, he's more skilled, and he's more talented than any pitcher the Red Sox have on their current rotation. And honestly, he's more skilled, he's younger, and he's more durable as well, right? He throws like 130 pitches a game in Japan. So I don't understand why people aren't saying, let's throw him the money. Why there's some hesitation. The literal only thing you can say is he's under 6 feet and he hasn't pitched a game in Major League Baseball. In my opinion, only one of them is legitimately viable, right? I don't know why I went off like that. I don't even know if Craig's still here, but happy Thanksgiving to you, my friend. Thank you for stopping by. I don't want him, Adolfo. Corbin, did you see Carabas on that podcast saying that if the Red Sox sign both Yamamoto and Ohtani, that he's going to learn Japanese and only speak the language instead of English? A chance, when he comes to the Red Sox, I promise you, we will do an entire live stream going through your comments about why he shouldn't be here. Because that's what you're doing, the exact same thing, right? There are going to be fans who do both. There are going to be fans who do both, right? There are going to be fans who are sitting here who are saying, if Yamamoto doesn't come, he's a failure. And when he doesn't, when Yamamoto, okay, there are going to be two sets of fans. Let me start from the beginning. There are two sets of fans, right? The fans that are like, we need Yamamoto more than anything in the world. And when he doesn't sign here, they're going to get salty and they're going to say, oh man, we didn't want him anyway. He's going to suck. His first game out, he gives up 4 earned runs in 6 innings. This guy blows, right? We don't need him. We didn't need him. We never needed him. Then there's going to be fans who say, we don't need Yamamoto. We shouldn't get Yamamoto. This ownership will never spend. This team is doomed for the next 20 years. Owners given up. They've hired some nerd out of Yale. They don't know what they're doing, right? Then they sign Yamamoto, and instead of the opposite, which is what the other fans are doing, these guys are going to say, well, wait a second here. They signed Yamamoto, but that doesn't fix any of the problems. But Yamamoto's here, but we don't know what he's going to be. And then again, he throws that 4 earned runs start in his first couple of starts. And it's all of a sudden it's, hey guys, this is clearly a false signing. This is a guy who's going to lose you a ton of money. This is a problem. He's only 5'10", right? There are going to be two sets of fans either way, Chance, and I promise you I'd rather be on the side of people who are hopeful and happy and want to have their team get better instead of saying the opposite. And that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, right? You could feel whatever you want to feel, but I just think it's a much happier existence to say, the Red Sox could get him, and if they don't get him, well, there's other ways to be successful this offseason, as opposed to the Red Sox will never get him. They'll never, this ownership isn't what it used to be. Boston isn't what it used to be. We're doomed for another 20 years. Because I think at some point here, a lot of these fans who are saying this, and again, I'm not singling anyone out. I'm just talking in general here. A lot of the fans that are saying, the Red Sox are doomed, have dug themselves into such a hole that when the Red Sox do inevitably turn it around and are competitive once again, they can't enjoy it because they've dug themselves so deep into the lore that this ownership is given up or that this team will be unsuccessful for years because of the mistakes they've made over the last 5 years. And it's going to be impossible for a lot of these guys to admit that they're going to be successful in the future. And when they are successful, it's going to be really hard for a lot of these people to admit that they were wrong because of the fact they've dug themselves so deep into this hole. And listen, going into 2023, I was on the optimistic side. I said, look, there are a lot of things that could go wrong here, but everything could go right and the Red Sox could be competitive. And for half the year, I was right and they were competitive. For the second half of the year, I wasn't. And you know what? It sucked, but at the same time, too, it must have sucked a whole lot more to have gone into the season expecting failure, refusing to admit this team was competitive, expecting failure, and then getting failure, right? I don't know. That's just my opinion. And again, I am not saying that you can't have that outlook because I think it's viable, right? The last 4 years of Red Sox existence has not been fun, right? You lose Mookie, you lose Xander, you lose Eovaldi, you lose essentially the heart and soul of that 2018 team. You see that team rip down. You see that team put together again. You see that team lose again and again. 2020, ALCS, last, right? It makes sense. I don't know. Who are acting like he's Ohtani or Sasaki. I mean, no one's saying he's the best Japanese player available or going to be available in the next 10 years. No one's saying that. If you're seeing people say that, Chance, then yeah, you have every right to say, hey, dummies, what about Ohtani? Right? What about the potential of Sasaki? Because if we're comparing Sasaki to Yoshinobu Yamamoto, one's way more accomplished than the other, and it's not Sasaki. Right? But I haven't seen anyone say this dude is going to be better than Ohtani as a pitcher or better than rookie Sasaki. Whew. Feels good, Chad. I feel like every year. I feel like every live stream we have one. We have one. We have one rant. That one felt good. That was a productive rant, though. I think that was a productive rant, though. Impressive ability to say Japanese names. I honestly don't know if I'm pronouncing them correctly. I'm just pronouncing them quickly. I feel like Xander was the captain of this team, but honestly, that contract isn't looking good now. No, I agree. All right, Carl. We'll do this one more time for the people in the back who missed it. I understand the concern, Carl, but here's what I have to say about that. The same scouts that scouted Kodai Senga, who, am I still on his page? I am. Who in 2023 came to Major League Baseball, first time ever, first time he pitched in a big league club in New York. In New York, one of the biggest markets in the entire country, if not the biggest in terms of sports. 2.98 ERA, 3.36 FIP, 1.42 ERA plus. He was an All-Star, 7th in Cy Young, and 2nd in Rookie of the Year voting. Right? Scouts who scouted that guy also scouted Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Said that Yamamoto is a league above Senga when it comes to how his ability is going to translate to Major League Baseball. So if Kodai Senga's best year is this year, right? We're talking about a guy who could be better than that, and that is an ace caliber pitcher. 2.98 ERA. 2.98 ERA is an ace caliber pitcher. It is. My biggest issue is that people are saying it's Yamamoto or bust. That's my biggest issue as well. I agree with you, 100% chance, because I think Kodai Senga should be your number one target, I think Yamamoto should be your number one target and should be the guy the Red Sox are going for. Go all in, go get him. If you don't get him, you could still have a successful offseason. You can still have an entirely successful offseason, be a competitor next year. Do we have a moderator in here? Don't put that word in my chat, Yell. I'll delete it or I'll delete it for you. Right, you can still have a very successful offseason trading for a top-of-the-line starting pitcher and signing a Montgomery. You know what I mean? Like, there are still ways to do it without it. Thank you. What do you think a Casas extension looks like? It's all good, Robbie. All good, my friend. I asked politely. Sometimes asking politely works. Casas extension, I would say, like, if you do 10 years, I think I've talked about this before. 10 years, you start the contract next in 2025 at $12 million. Then you go $12 million from 2025 to 2028. And then after 2028, you go up to $20 million from 2028. Did I do my math right? Yeah, 2028. You do no. You start at 12, then you go to 25 for 3 years. Then for the last 3 years, you do 32. And then for the final year, you do 35. That's what I would do. At first, I said Yamamoto or bust, but if the Red Sox can trade for Corbin Burnes or Luis Castillo, then sign Monty or Snell, if that happens, I'll be satisfied. Yeah, it's so, someone said it best. It's so early. It's so early. I don't know, Chad. I really don't know. We haven't really heard much on whether or not they're trying to heavily pursue him or not. We know they're probably going to be a top contender. I don't know what it will be. Are we in talks for re-signing Bayer Casas? I have not seen anything, so I don't think there have been serious talks yet. No. Brock Holt type player? Could be. I think Pablo Reyes will be fairly successful. My biggest worry is that Breslow hears all the noise about. You know what? In all honesty, Chance, I think there are a lot of people worried about that as well, and I was worried about that as well. But Breslow seems real confident in himself. What's up, Wes? Breslow seems real confident in himself. There wasn't a ton of, hey, things need to change around here in a big way. So I don't think he's the type of guy to be like, I need to make noise and make a trade that ends up biting the Red Sox in the ass, right? There could be a trade that's made that does do that, but I don't think it's going to be because Craig Breslow says, I need to make my name known. And I think he can do that in free agency. I think he could do that with, and I think he could do that with extensions, right? And I think you can use trade talks to supplement it. Does Breslow signing increase likability of playing in Boston? Beyond the Boston versus LA argument, where does Boston rank as far as where people want to play? I honestly, people have made a really big deal out of the Red Sox not being a destination anymore. I don't think that's entirely true, man. And I don't know how much Breslow increases the likability, to be honest with you. I'm not sure how much it does, if it does at all. Would you like Bellinger on the Red Sox? Yeah, but not for the money he's going to get, and we don't really have a spot for him. So, what do you think of Dylan Cease? I'd be all in. Do the Red Sox push for Ohtani, or do you think we spread that money elsewhere? I don't think the Red Sox make a legitimate push for Ohtani. I think they get outbid pretty quickly. And I honestly think it might end up being smart for them to allow themselves to be outbid and have a ceiling with a guy like Ohtani. So yeah, I don't think they'll make a big push for Ohtani, but I don't know. I really don't. Local media is saying no. National media is saying yes. We'll see who's right. It seems baseball is the only sport such a drawn-out free agency period. Yeah, because they don't have, like, in football and basketball, they have like a certain time period where free agents can sign. With baseball, it's just before the off season or the spring training starts, and even then, you could sign someone in spring training. I agree with you, versatility. They have already talked to Montgomery. Yeah, I'm assuming we'll see more about that in the next few weeks. Do you think ownership will let Breslow spend, or do you think they will control his spending? I think they'll let him spend. What's going on, Steven? Ohtani doesn't make sense for the Red Sox. Where is he fit truly? And the second arm, Tommy John's already. How much longer till he's just a DH? Listen, no, Shohei Ohtani doesn't fit in with the Red Sox, but it's also Shohei freaking Ohtani, right? You're talking about the best bat in Major League Baseball. So even if he can't pitch, he's still the best hitter in Major League Baseball. At least in 2023 and in 2021. 2022, he was still really good, right? I mean, he's incredible. He's the best player in the league. So no, he doesn't make sense. But when you're the best player in the league, it's quite literally worth making room. You figure it out. You sign him, then you figure out where he's going to play. You sign him, then you figure it out. Right? I think that's totally 1,000% what you do with Shohei Ohtani. Even if he doesn't pitch, I understand it's a lot of money, but that's why there's again, if I'm the Red Sox, the only way I'm signing Ohtani is if it's one price for when he's both pitching and hitting, and it's one price for when he's just hitting, right? I'm not talking every 4 or 5 days. I'm talking season-wise, right? If the Red Sox go into a season and Ohtani's like, look, I'm not going to be able to pitch for the first half, okay, great. Half the year, you'll get paid $32 million. Second half of the year, you get paid $47 million, right? That way, the team's like, okay, when Ohtani can no longer pitch, you're still paying him at a reasonable price to be the best hitter in Major League Baseball. That to me is the only way to make sense, but it's still worth going for because it's Shohei Ohtani. That's good, Steve, and I'm glad you got the heater on. I really think Ohtani's playing the Red Sox to get more money. A lot of people are playing a lot of teams. Yeah, Ohtani did play the outfield. It's just not worth the injury risk. Guillermo here. What's up, Guillermo? Would it make sense for the Red Sox to move Devers to full-time DH, move Story back to second, and go after Bogarts and Machado in a trade for the Padres? No, it would not. Mostly because the Padres would never do that. Does Verdugo trade to the filthy Yankees make sense? It could. It could. I wouldn't be pumped about it. I also wouldn't be super upset about it, depending on the return. Right, but again, Salty, you're not paying the $500. Maybe it's $500 million total, but it's not $500 million to be a DH. It's $500 million to be the best hitter in Major League Baseball and one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. Then, once he does end up, eventually having to choose between pitching and hitting, you pay him for a DH. Again, $32 million to be the DH every year, which is worth it. You were talking about the best hitter in Major League Baseball, right? And then you get paid $45 million, $50 million a year to be a pitcher and a hitter where the value's worth what you're getting out of them. Have a nice Thanksgiving as well, Dennis. Thanks for stopping by. Do you think Red Sox give Mike Trout a look? I'd be shocked. Shocked. Trade Verdugo for Aaron Judge's brother, Arson. One of the biggest questions I've been asking myself is if we don't trade Verdugo to the Yankees, do we still trade him by spring training or do we wait? I would say probably wait. You too, Tim. Thanks for coming by, my friend. I think Ohtani's going to be with the Dodgers. I think so too, but I think a lot of Red Sox fans are like, he doesn't make sense. Well, of course he doesn't make sense. He doesn't need to make sense. He's the best player in the league. So, I don't know. I think it's an interesting conversation for sure, but I just think the only way the Red Sox, in my opinion, actually give him the money he was owed is if they put in a contingency like that. Like, look, Ohtani, we'll bring you here, we'll load you up with everyone we could possibly load you up with. Edgar, thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. We'll give you everyone we can give you. Everyone we can give you. But we're going to pay because we need to protect ourselves. And I think you can understand that as a man who, has sacrificed a lot to be the best player in Major League Baseball. And not that we don't believe in you, but we need to protect ourselves. We'll pay you a certain rate when you're a DH, and we'll pay you a certain rate when you're pitching. Do you think Major League Baseball should get rid of the ghost runner rule? I don't hate the ghost runner rule, to be honest with you. I don't hate it. It doesn't do enough for me to be like, happy Thanksgiving to you too, Steven. I'd rather have Ohtani if that's what you're asking, Tom. Yeah, to me, it doesn't do enough for me to be like, it needs to go. How can the Dodgers afford him? They essentially let everyone go, dude. It's crazy. They have the 16th lowest payroll in baseball right now at the moment. They can afford him, which is wild. One thing that no one is addressing is that Shohei has a business that he is working with in Boston. Yeah, New Balance. Yeah, Hector, I agree. It's a business decision for sure. With Ohtani, right, above everyone else, it's a business decision for sure. And I think that's going to be a big point. And you know what's interesting about that? A lot of people have been saying John Henry's a great businessman. He knows how much money Shohei Ohtani will bring in. I can see Verdugo and Pivetta being involved in a trade to bring in Corbin Burns. I don't know if the Brewers will want to pay Alex Verdugo's salary, though. If they don't want to pay Corbin Burns for his last year, I don't know if they'll want to pay Verdugo for his last year. People address the New Balance thing constantly, though. What do you mean? He is a big partner with New Balance. I think he has like the biggest sponsorship deal in MLB history, I think, with New Balance. He's got a very close relationship. Really, really likes the owner of New Balance. And people think it's a talking point for him coming to Boston. I don't really know, though. I would love that, Doc. If they did that, I'd be pumped, but I don't think they were going to do that. Glad you're here, Pac. For him, it comes down to where he wants to play, right? Because everyone's going to be close, and honestly, how much different is... Yeah. Agreed, Robbie. It comes down to where he wants to play. I think this... I said this moments ago. I think that it's safer to sign Yamamoto and trade for Jordan Montgomery for Alex Verdugo. Don't need to trade Montgomery. Montgomery's a free agent. Ohtani and the Cubs, yeah, there's been a lot of push for Ohtani and the Cubs. As long as we get Corbin Burns, I'd be happy. I would be so pumped to get Corbin Burns. If only his last name was Corbin, that'd be sick. Are these Soto rumors dead for now? I think they'll heat up in a little bit. Yeah, I don't hate it, Edgar. I think he has pretty good potential, and for getting something for nothing, I like it. I was just going to answer a question. Corbin, that split contract for Ohtani makes a lot of sense. It has to. It has to. I think unless the Dodgers flat out blow him away, I think you're going to see a contract that's similar to that. It just makes too much sense not to. People overrate Verdugo's value. Teams know his character and his talent is not worth the headache. Yeah, it definitely will hurt. And I think I've seen that a couple of times. With scouts and stuff saying that he flat out gave up and maybe he's not worth bringing here. But all it takes is one team, right? It just takes one team to sit back and say, yeah, you know what? He struggled a bit character-wise, but we think we have the right solution to that problem. We'll take him. It just takes one, right? We don't need a ton of teams interested. Where the Red Sox rank in payroll this offseason? What's up, Peter? Honestly, I don't know. I think they're fairly high. The Red Sox are ninth. $144 million towards the payroll tax. It's the Mets, Yankees, Phillies, Astros, which is interesting. Rangers, Braves, Cubs, Padres, then us. I would be shocked if he ended up with the Yankees, honestly, King. I don't think it's going to happen. Under what circumstances would I trade Devers? I wouldn't. I don't think I would. Yeah, we do have a lot of money coming off after next year. We got $20 million from Chris Sale. Kenley's gone, we got $25 million from Chris Sale, $16 million from Kenley Jansen. I think that's kind of it. Won't have to pay Eric Hosmer anymore. Won't have to pay Joely anymore. Won't have to pay Justin Turner anymore. And then I think the deferrals for Manny end next year too. So you're looking at about $40-ish million coming off the books, a little bit over next season. We'll see where the Red Sox put themselves for that. They definitely do want to make a push for him, yeah. I don't think they'll end up getting it done though. One more year of Sale, but his $20 million bonus vesting thing could be bad. That's only if you finish top 10 in Cy Young, which I'd be shocked. Yeah, we're still playing league minimum, though. I don't, Pac-Man. I don't think that gets it done, especially if they get into a bit of a bidding war. He is getting paid by San Diego, yes, but the Red Sox still pay the league minimum on him.
At least in 2024, they are. They're paying league minimum 740,000. I don't think it's been super weird with Atlanta. They don't really have a ton of holes to fix. The problem is trading for Soto is, do you extend him? Because if you don't, is any worth trading for 1 year rental? I think you have to, right? For what you're going to have to give up. For what you're going to have to give up, I think you have to. Which is why I don't think the Yankees end up getting it done, because Juan Soto to me feels like a guy who'd be like, the Yankees, I'm all set, right? Soto's a clean-cut guy, so it's not a beard thing, but it's a culture thing. Juan Soto's loose. He's fun. And scouts know Nick York's a mid-prospect. Chance, what are you, a scout? I hate when people say that. I hate when people say, oh, this guy's a mid-prospect. Or scouts know he's a mid-prospect. Like, yeah, you don't until he gets to Major League, right? Wilyer Abreu was a prospect. A lot of scouting sites didn't even have a top 100, didn't have him in the top 20 top Red Sox prospects, didn't mention a word about him, said he probably won't be successful at the major leagues. And we haven't seen a ton from him, but what we have seen is all of a sudden all these guys, Lou Merlone, Will Middlebrook, saying, oh, well, wait a second, this dude, he's got it, right? Yeah. I don't know. I love talking prospects. I do, but I like talking about what the potential, like what the ceiling of prospects could be, because I think that's more interesting, because realistically, you're not going to know what their sort of base level looks like until they get to Major League Baseball. It's awesome, Steven. I'm sad you haven't been back there. I'm sorry about your mom, and I hope you get back soon. Thoughts on Diamondbacks' new uniforms? I haven't even seen them. Think about the leverage taking Bogarts with Soto would create. Move Story back to second, possibly move Story. Let's face it, he's a perfect righty to hit between the big lefties. The Padres admitting that they shouldn't have signed Xander is not going to happen. And listen, Chance, I trust. I also agree with that. Yeah. Corbin interview segment. I would love that. I actually reached out. Lou Merlone and I follow each other on Twitter. I reached out to talk to him, see if I could get him on the podcast. Never got a response. Zach Kelly also follows me. I reached out to him, didn't get anything. Jonathan Papelbon follows me, reached out to him, didn't get anything. So I'm having a tough time getting people onto onto the channel. To be honest with you, I really don't know why. Chance, what I was gonna say is I'm not trying to dispute the Sox prospect guys. By the way, when it comes to prospects, I come on in, Robbie. Fred Lynn might do it. Maybe I'll hit him up. I'm not trying to say I know I you know what I mean. Like, I'm not trying to say that at all. Sox prospects is king when it comes to Red Sox prospects, and most of the time they're right. Most of the time they're right, and they probably are with Nick York. I'm not trying to dispute that either. All I was saying was that I just like to look at the ceilings rather than what their baseline's going to be. And it's probably smarter to look at what their baseline's going to be. But I don't know. There's so many times we've seen prospects surprise each other and surprise everyone that I just, plus it's just more fun, Agreed, Robbie. Who's the most overrated Red Sox player of all time? How's Movember going? Good. We're over halfway done. If I match, which I'm going to, $250, we're good. We hit our $500 goal. I'm going to leave it up for the rest of the month, though. I want to see how high we can get it. But $260, guys, incredible. Incredible. Who won the recent Braves trade? I honestly don't know if anyone won that. Honestly, I have no idea. What's up, Nelson? I have no idea who won that trade. JD Drew, Prodigy. Top 10 prospects for next season. I haven't seen anything. Punlu. I'm so sorry. I'm going to butcher your name. Punleo. 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 I'm so sorry. I butchered that. I haven't seen anything from someone who played both. I appreciate that, Steven. Thank you. Can someone explain why more people aren't talking about Severino or Montas? I think Severino is a bit of a lost cause. I think the off-field issues, too. Oh, no, wait. That was Domingo Germán. I honestly don't love Luis Severino's potential to bounce back. I don't think it will end up being worth taking him on. But I will say Montas is an interesting one. Frankie Montas is an interesting one because Frankie didn't have a great season at all, but there were a lot of pitchers. He was also injured, right? He was injured for a lot of that. I would be Frankie Montas. You'd have to trade for him, right? No, you wouldn't. Yeah, I think it would be really interesting. Frankie Montas to me would be someone I'd be more interested in than Luis Severino. Punlu? Okay. I'm sorry to hear that, Punlu. That's I get CORVIN all the time. That was on one of my official transcripts. I had to get that changed. Red Sox Walker reunion? I don't think so. Yeah, I see what you're saying here, Chance. And you could take especially, if you believe in Andrew Bailey, you think he can turn these guys around. I would be more inclined with Frankie Montas personally than I would Luis Severino. That's just my opinion, though. Who's the best Red Sox right fielder of all time? Ted Williams. What could we see from Rob Refsnyder next season? Will he be reliable? We'll see him in the same role. Hitting against righties. Okay, Chance. Ted Williams never played right field. Doesn't sound right. Could be. Played 149 games in. He played 169 games in right field. Then if it's not Ted Williams, I never know the actual positions of some of these guys. I honestly, Dwight Evans, Mookie Betts. If we're being honest, I think the Red Sox will only get one elite starter and maybe one or two mid-rotation pieces. Yeah, it could. It wouldn't be shocked. All right, Robbie. Have a good one. Who's the Red Sox rookie that I hear was about that pitching near 100 miles an hour? It might be Brian Mata, who you were talking about. All right, chat. I saw that. I just saw that, Mike. I just got the notification. We get some claps in the chat from Mike for donating $25 to Movember, helping the cause. Absolutely incredible. Truly appreciate you, Mike. Thank you so much. If you'd like to download or like to donate to help raise awareness for men's mental health, I could put the link in the chat. But Prodigy really wants an answer. What's the answer? Most overrated Red Sox player of all time? Honestly, I don't have a great answer for you. I don't have a great answer. Either way, chat. Sorry to end on not being able to figure that out now, but we're going to call it a day here. I think we've covered everything we can possibly cover regarding the Red Sox right now. We will be back in 2 weeks. Oops, sorry. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Hopefully there's some more rumors then. I think there will be. I think we will see some big moves over the next couple of weeks, whether with the Red Sox or, in spite of the Red Sox. It's going to hurt the Red Sox this offseason. I think we'll see something. Either way, thank you all for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. It means a ton. To be here in the off season when there's not a ton of true news, I really appreciate you. Thank you to everyone who donated, became a sub, whether it was to Movember or to me. I really appreciate it. 2 weeks will be, I think, winter meetings, but either way, have a happy Thanksgiving for those of you. People always ask me, what am I most thankful about with this YouTube stuff, regardless of the fact that I'm not doing this full time yet. And it's the community. It's the people that, I've surrounded myself with that have gone on this journey with me and been active in talking Red Sox baseball the last 2 years. I am thankful for you. You guys mean more to me than you'll ever know. So thank you so much for being here. Have a happy Thanksgiving. If you haven't yet, hit that sub button. We talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys hit the like button on this video. Helps this video out a ton. It mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. And I will see you